Hello, my name is Matthew Ashfold from the University of Nottingham, Malaysia. To help introduce our bite-sized modules, in this mini lecture I would like to say something about the big picture on climate action. What do we need to do? In Paris in 2015, the countries of the world, including Malaysia, agreed a goal to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius and preferably to 1.5 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial levels. We have now experienced around 1.2 degrees Celsius of global warming and are approaching the agreed temperature thresholds quite quickly. In the other introductory bite-sized climate action mini lecture, my colleague Dr. Shiba will explain why avoiding too much warming is crucial and the potential impacts of climate change on our health, livelihoods, food security, water supply, and more. Here, I will concentrate on what we need to do to avoid these dangerous levels of global warming. The short version is we need to act big and act fast. Our action needs to focus on the cause of the warming. The emissions from human activity of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide and methane. These gases are present naturally in our atmosphere and have properties that enable them to absorb heat that is escaping to space. By retaining heat near Earth's surface, these gases mimic the effect of a greenhouse and help to keep our planet warm enough to be habitable. But by adding more and more of these gases to the atmosphere, we are causing unnatural levels of warming. What are the activities causing these emissions? Well, almost everything related to our day-to-day lives is linked to greenhouse gas emissions. Our electricity at home, our travel, our food, the goods and the services we consume. Mostly, the link is to our demand for energy generated by burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. The way we manage land and agriculture is also crucial. This deep connection to our day-to-day lifestyle might sound daunting, but it also means we have many opportunities and options to act. And our bite-sized modules are designed to empower and support your climate actions, both individually and socially. At the global scale, to meet the more ambitious goal of avoiding 1.5 degrees Celsius of global warming, we will need to cut emissions of greenhouse gases in half by around 2030, and thereafter to continue cutting to as close as possible to zero as we can get. But it is important to recognise that the aggregate global perspective conceals huge variations in emissions between countries and between individuals. Accordingly, there is a huge variation in our abilities or our responsibilities to act for climate. Many of the richest countries and richest people cause the highest levels of emissions, and so can cut their emissions by the largest amount. As Malaysia's economy has developed, we have reached a point where our average emissions per person are now approaching double the global average. Though again we realise that emissions will be distributed very unevenly among us, with the rule of thumb being the close link between affluence and emissions. So each of us has different capabilities to act for the climate, but every action matters. Each extra ton of emissions adds cumulatively to global warming. In this way, it is like we are filling a climate bucket from a tap of greenhouse gas emissions, and we want to avoid our bucket overflowing with too much warming and with worse and worse climate impacts. We need to turn down and ultimately turn off our tap. In closing this mini lecture, I want to emphasize that done well, climate action can be about much more than minimising greenhouse gas emissions and avoiding too much global warming. Our actions can, at the same time, have additional local benefits in Malaysia, leading to healthier lifestyles, to cleaner air, waterways, beaches and towns, and to protecting our natural environment and magnificent biodiversity. So climate action can at heart be about creating a cleaner, healthier, happier Malaysia.